there's the parable of the sower in the Bible, and Jesus talks about basically that there's this farmer and he goes out and sows the seeds, and some of the seeds fall by the wayside, some of the seeds get hit by the scorched earth, some of the seeds get hit with thorns and don't sprout up and create plants, and then some of the seeds go and create plants 100, 1,000 times fold. And I think that's relevant in leadership, really in sales too. Absolutely. When you're finding and introducing yourself to people, they're kind of like the seeds.
Absolutely. No, it's so important. I love that you brought this phrase up. And I think sometimes people in business, they always have this phrase, I need to see it to believe it. I need to see it to believe it. And they want like fast results, but they're not willing to put in the value to see that type of outcome. So I love that phrase with the planting the seeds. Through the experience in businesses and things that I've done in the past, there's been times where I've been sowing and then sowing and then sowing and planting seeds and planting seeds and planting seeds. And, another phrase that goes along with that I like is that, you may not reap where you sow, you may not reap, when you sow, but you will reap way more than what you sow. And that's happened to us many times in business, where I could be working and mentoring somebody. Let's say we gave them a lot of value in business. We taught them how to make six figures in solar sales. And we taught them how to do, let's say, virtual sales. And maybe this person disappears somehow. They took the knowledge that disappeared. Maybe this person's brother or somebody that worked for this person reaches out to us and says, hey, listen, I really want to work closer with you guys. So, I've seen this happen so many times where sometimes it's just not that person that you've provided value to, but you did put value out there in the world and it comes back. But there's so many scenarios that happen like that. I'm sure, you have some in your mind as well.
No, yeah, it definitely happens all the time in business. I think the biggest thing I struggled with when I first started in leadership, and still today, it comes up because in life, we set expectations on people and things and outcomes. And the thing that frustrates me the most, or when I find myself getting frustrated in business, is when I have a certain expectation and the expectation is not being met. It's the same thing in marriage and relationships and friendships and with kids, pets, you name it, right? Even if you get like a service and it doesn't meet your expectations, you find yourself not being the most happy. So sometimes something that I always want to work on and get better at is not always attaching crazy expectations to each individual person. I think a big mistake that newer leaders make is that they think that every single person that comes in that has a good month is going to have a good year, is going to have a good decade. They might just have a good month. They might not be someone that's going to have a good year with you. And it might not be anything that you do or your fault, but it could happen anyway. And if you remove the expectation and instead just focus on your production and your effort, you'll get the result, but it might not come from that specific person.
Exactly. Yeah, that's happens. It's happened to us so many times. Just talking about, let's say, the solar business in general. There's people that we've mentored, there's people that we've taught, and they've learned great skills, and then they've moved on. They've taken those skills and they're succeeding elsewhere. And we're very happy that they are succeeding elsewhere. And they might be working for competing companies and things like that, but the people that were near them that saw the value we provided or saw what we taught them, there's people that came out of the woodwork, or people that just maybe weren't working with us, but randomly say, hey, listen, we could see this person winning because of what you taught them. Or we saw, you helped this person really win. Could you guys do the same with me? And then this person comes out of nowhere and becomes a top producer in the company, becomes a top representative in the company. And little did we know, we were sowing. It's just not always in the exact place. And that expectation, I think people in entrepreneurship need to really understand that you can't put input without seeing some kind of output. It will occur. It's just got to be in the right timing. And there's a healthy balance. Sometimes you could be putting input in the wrong areas. Let's say if we were working on something completely wrong. Let's say for us, at a specific time, it was going across the country doing blitzes. Right, we did a decent amount of input in that area, and blitzes in solar, it's spending 10 days at a time in a different state, and that was fine, that was great, But if we're not growing as a company, or we're not really growing, then it's input in the wrong area. You do need to be cognizant and understand that, hey, sometimes you do need to switch things up. There's a difference between input, 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 and expecting output, and also knowing when you're putting input in the wrong areas.